I think one of the biggest challenges in being a person who talks about alcohol use disorder or alcoholism is how society views the issue to begin with. It's so socially acceptable and it's been become so ingrained into our common culture that you're weird if you don't drink, or if you do drink and you have a problem, everybody will be in denial in your circle and they will not face that there is an issue. I mean, in fact, I get a lot of it just being someone, a spokesperson who speaks about this disease. And if this is the first time seeing me, well, I was married for 25 years, and unfortunately, my wife succumbed to alcohol use disorder about almost 5 years ago at this point, in February of next year. And I talk about stories that we went through with her. But I mean, I'll get comments like even calling it alcohol use disorder, like, well, I'm a snowflake because I'm watering it down, and I should just call it alcoholism. And that, I mean, there's reasons why things are the way they are. It's called alcohol use disorder. The term was originally coined by the National Institute of Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, which is the institution that really studies this disease. It is absolutely a government institution, and it started in 1970, and it's absolutely the most profound study. People dedicate their lives in trying to understand this disease. And that's where I get a lot of my information from. Also, the American Medical Association has called it and labeled it a disease. It's been classified as a disease by, like doctors since 1956. These aren't things that are disputable. This is the deal. This is why things are the way they are. I don't, I don't debate with people. I explain, I educate, and if you want to take it one way or the other, that's great. But that's the way it is. And I'll be the first to admit that I have a different perspective than the average person. I mean, when you watched a loved one succumb to this disease and go through every level and incrementally get worse and worse and worse, no matter how much help and support you give that person, and they just get worse and worse and worse, it's very obvious that it's a very serious disease. And the thing is, like any disease, I mean, if you have diabetes, maybe you shouldn't be eating a bowl of ice cream at night. If you're obese, maybe you shouldn't eat 10,000 calories. If you have lung cancer, maybe you shouldn't have those three or four packs of cigarettes every day of your life. We all have to take responsibility for our mental health and our physical health. Alcoholism is no different. The problem is society has embraced it, and they've created this matrix of where if you're not drinking, you're not in the in crowd. Big part. And I know this may go against common culture, but you don't need alcohol to get through your day, or if you have a high stress job, or the kids are screaming. I mean, you don't have to be the housewife that goes and gets a bottle of red wine or white wine. It's not necessary. There's other ways and other coping skills, and we have to learn other coping skills other than alcoholism, other than alcohol. And every person who drinks is not necessarily going to become an alcoholic. In fact, the vast majority never will. They never will, because they don't create this kind of consistency. But for those who do, it will develop into an addiction and eventually a disorder and a mental illness. That's a fact. A lot of people are in that grip now, and they're in denial, which will only exacerbate the problem. So again, for all those kind of keyboard warriors who make comments without knowing, the full story of this page or what this page is about, and say, "Oh, here comes Debbie Downer again," or "Isn't this just a bowl of fun?" or "You must be fun at parties. You must be just a blast to be around." Yeah, well, when you hold the hand of your spouse that you were married to for 25 years and have to turn off the machines, there's not a lot of humor attached to that. And understand that that's the road that you're going down if you do create this consistency that develops into an addiction, and then a disorder, and then a mental health issue, and then it just completely consumes you. And it will take your family down with you if you allow that, if your family allows it, if they don't understand it. This whole page is dedicated to awareness and to take action before you get into the later stages, because those stages, the percentage wise that someone's going to recover from that, drop significantly as time goes on. And that awareness needs to be told. And if you do have somebody who's in denial, deflection, they're gaslighting. I mean, honestly, my recommendation is to go limited contact or no contact at all. There's only so much you can do with them. Or if you just want to, play it out, and you're in a position where you can do that. But be aware, there's not a whole lot you can do for that person. That's why it's so important to get to kids, people in their teens and 20s, to get them this information long before it becomes a life or death situation and destroys families. And again, I want to point out my wife's memoir. It's called Amanda, A Cautionary Tale of Alcoholism. It's the story of my wife's 25 year decline with alcoholism, and ultimately she passed February 21st of 2020. It's an important story. It's from the perspective of the family, which is a rare perspective. Usually the books are on the alcoholism and how to recover. This is from the family perspective, as it's a family disease. Again, I also go live Monday through Friday right around 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We also have the Facebook group. It's called There's an Alcoholic in the Family. And when you're ready to work with me, set up a breakthrough call. Link is in the link tree in my bio. Set up a Zoom call. Takes about 45 minutes to an hour. We do a deep dive into what's going on with you and your family. Then we go over the program. The call is free. The program is definitely not. But I'm looking for people who want to change their lives and the lives of their family. And again, thanks so much for listening.